So, Astoma Sadgame, Tamsoma Jyotirgame, Mrityorma Amritam Game. So, this ability. Okay. Today, the very first session is India's contribution to meet the global climate challenges. And for that, I would like to invite our honorary Mr. Raj Shekhar Joshi ji to moderate this session. He is a very eminent person, and I request her to please be on the stage and moderate this session.
So it's my immense, we had a very fruitful and very engaging day one. And I must say it got capped by a spiritual talk. And I wish we could have done that earlier. And it would have set a very bright tone. It was something, one thing which I will always remember, I must say that. So beginning for the second day, the first session we have is India's contribution to meet global climate challenge. And on this panel along with me are Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar. Unfortunately, he is not able to be physically present as he's had to go out of country, but we have a video session from him. I'm also very pleased to invite Dr. Gulshan Rai along with me on my panel, on this panel. And he's a former Chief Information Security Officer, but I think that that tells a little about him. He has been a leader in technology, an eminent leader, and he has been. I'll just briefly introduce. So, along with me, it's my great pleasure and honor. So he has been a technology leader. And of course, as they say that as time goes by, a very broader horizon comes, in any individual leader's, perspective. And as we know, cybersecurity is something which has been, on the news, and it's one of the biggest challenges of the century. And he has set up for the first, time, the entire structure of how cybersecurity governance has to take place in government of India and outside in the national scene. So he's a pioneer in that sense. And I'm very pleased to welcome you, Dr. Gulshan. And now as we take forward this session, the topic. Okay. Yeah. So when we come to the topic of India's contribution to meet global climate challenge, we yesterday discussed there are about 2-3 dimensions to it. One is, as far as the global challenge is concerned, there are causes because of consumption, increase of pollutants, and so on and so forth. There are symptoms which we see, like sea levels rise, species getting extinction, and so on and so forth. And there are outcomes which are there, which we all face continuously. And of course, then there are actions. So there are 4 dimensions to it. I was this morning briefly with the Union Minister, Bhupendra Yadav ji, who is in environment. And we had a very quick discussion around these areas and had a small, talk on the India's response to it. So I will actually dwell that. So these are things. And of course, as we discussed that there are 3 main pillars again. One is technology and innovation. The other one is the finance and adoption and actions which have to be taken. So I'm just trying to put a framework around it. Otherwise, the subject is too vast. We can go into so many other dimensions which are there. Now, a global climate challenge is a stark reality in front of us. And as far as India's contribution is concerned, it can be, as we say, in multiple ways which are there. We have a paradox. We have huge developmental needs. We are still a developing country. As I was telling yesterday, that even if we, continue at the same rate, which is one of the best, growth rates in the world today, we would still be only using like 3,800 units per capita in 2050, which is 70% of what the US uses today and 30% of what the European Union does today. So, and also, and we would still be, I'm not going too deep into mathematics, but around 500 gigatons of carbon dioxide India will be, releasing as a stock in this period. And to address that, even to bring it to 1/4 of it, there will be around $7 to $8 trillion of, financing requirement, which is there. Now, that is something, these are mind-boggling figures, and it's not easy to come by. So we have this paradox: developmental needs, we have to grow, but we are one of the biggest polluters in the world. We are expected to lead, and so on and so forth. So this is the paradox we have to address. And of course, I think just a few quick points before I invite Dr. Gulshan to share his wisdom and insights in this. I think one important way India can contribute is to, how to ensure a practical and equitable climate dialogue in the world, because India is a force in itself, and so how can this dialogue happen between the rich Western countries and the large amount of developing countries? So India can be a great bridge and a stabilizer. The COP26 could not conclude till India was on board. It's like that. And we made commitments almost on the last day, and the climate and the whole summit came to a conclusion. So we are an important force. So that dialogue, we have to do that. We have taken initiatives like International Solar Alliance, where in 2015, and we have more than 100 countries who are members of it. India and France took the joint lead on that, which is there. Then also best practices, innovation and technology, which we can proliferate through the world, especially in the developing countries, which is there. A typical, though not a cliche now, though this is an old term now, but still I will use it for the sake of brevity, is a South-South leadership, if you have to use that word, though it's a little outdated now, which is there. And also goals which can practically implement, because if India improves, the world improves. Some of the world's most polluted cities are in India. We have 1/6 of humanity with us. So if India does not move, the world does not improve. So we have a great contribution internationally and as well as in India, which is there. So having set the tone, and I will not take further time on this, I request Dr. Rai, Dr. Gulshan to share his wisdom and insights on this, and then possibly we'll go into a bit of a Q&A. And maybe we can ask some question in the audience also. Yeah. Considering we have significantly overshot the time which was there because of delayed start, and so we don't have much time for Q&A. But a very short, as they say, 1 minute challenge, if I have to put across, because we have a lot of children in the audience. Paraphrase, a word, a movie from the 80s, The Barbarians at the Gate. We have immense challenges, as we all know, when the sea levels are rising at double the rate, when the pH in the oceans is at the lowest in 26,000 years, when the first time rain which has happened in Greenland summit ice sheet, where it always snowed. Thousands of penguins are dying in Antarctica, and so on and so forth. We have a crisis at hand. And a lot of these technologies which we discussed, especially green hydrogen, are going to take years to reach at that level where economics will work out for practical purposes. Any message which you have for especially the children and audience, at how to use technology and what they can use in different ways to address the challenges which we face today, something like that. Let's share some wisdom with them. In a little brief, because you already overshot.
I think first of all, the younger generation can help us to understand the impact better. There is a generation gap. We have seen certain aspects. We understand things better. By the younger generation need to first adopt the issues first. They need to understand the issues first. Today they are altogether different from the scenario which I think, Mr. Joshi, you and me, many of us have seen the aspect. The good early days when we used to sleep right on the roof of the house there. But these young children, they have not seen that kind of environment, that factor there. So first need is the understanding, yes, this issue is very grave and we need to address that. And the second, which my friend Dina said, that they must adopt practices there. They must adopt the change in their habit towards us, because I think change in the habit itself will solve 40% of the issues, which I feel that technology will come later. Rest of the 60% will be addressed by the technology there. That's what I think, the change in the habit. understanding the impact, understand the issues, these two things are very, very important aspect there. The third aspect is that they must look at the technology to find a solution, to address the solution there, rather than complicating the issues further or misusing the technology, which in fact is the adverse impact on the climate. The major issue will come, significant issues will come, the environmental junk which we are creating, that buying the things, throwing away without understanding, throwing in the public there, all kind of a garbage. I think that Swachhata Abhiyan, it should include the junk which we are creating by virtue of technology also. I think these are the few things which my younger generation should understand, and it will go a long way in bringing a change in the climate towards a climate change. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Gulshan. I think especially global environment challenges, crisis, technology solutions is a topic which could go on and on, but we have to stop at some point. So I think you have been a wonderful audience, and here on, thank you so much. Yeah.